So, RWBY Volume 7. Will this season be as good as Volume 3? Or will it be as good as Volume 5?
I see it, and now it's all within my reach. Possibility. I see it now. It's always been inside of me. And now I feel so free. And there's possibility. And there's possibility. And there's possibility.
Hello everyone, and today I'm taking a look at RWBY Volume 7. RWBY Volume 7 is the most recent season of RWBY, so let's talk about it. The plot of this season is that it takes place immediately after the events of Volume 6, where the main characters arrive at Atlas with the Relic to team up with Ironwood to try and tell the world about Salem. However, Watts and Tyrion are there, and are basically there to cause mayhem for the main characters, and there's a bunch of other stuff happening as well, like an election for the council, and also Penny being alive and safe, and also Nora murders someone in cold blood. Now, before I get into my positives, let's talk about my negatives first. First off, some of the new characters aren't that interesting to me. Now, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of, well, actually no, there's only 3 new characters that I found remotely interesting. Those being Robin, Penny's father, I forgot his name, but he's still interesting, and finally, Clover. But let's talk about the characters I didn't care for this volume. First off, the Aesop's. Oh my god, I didn't even realize it until I just said it. But still, the Aesop's, I didn't really care about them, really. They only have, like, one thing I remember about them. Like, for example, one of them can run really fast, one of them has a giant hammer, one has glowy hands with his semblance, and the other one with the fox tail, or wolf tail, I only remember him because his semblance allows him to become Dio from JoJo. Yeah, I didn't really find myself caring for these guys at all. Also, Joxney is back. Just great. Just great. Oh, and we also meet Weiss's mom, Willow, and I really feel bad for her, honestly, because we find out that Jock could be abusive to her sometimes, and I just feel bad for her. In fact, she's another interesting character. Well, one of the only 4 new characters I found interesting. Also, another issue I do have with this season is with another new character they introduce, Robin. Now, I don't hate Robin. She's perfectly serviceable. She has a pretty cool design. And honestly, I was only rooting for her to win because, well, compared to Jock, she's a lot better. But my problem with Robin is that, here's the thing, she's based off of Robin Hood. You know, steal from the rich, give to the poor. However, my issue with this is that they don't do enough with that idea. Because we only see her stealing from the rich once. And that's when she loses the election and she's doing it out of anger. I really wish we got to see more of her, like, you know, being, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor like Robin Hood, but they don't really do that much with that idea. And finally, I have one more issue with this season. Clover's depth scene. I hate this scene a lot. Because my major issue with this scene is the fact that I understand that Clover is trying to arrest Crowe because James, or Ironwood, declared martial law. But still, my issue with this is that during their fight, Crowe decides to team up with Tyrion, of all people, to knock out Clover, and then for Crowe and Tyrion to fight 1v1. And I'm like, Crowe, buddy, did you just forget in Volume 4 this guy tried to take your niece to Salem where she would have been killed? Did you just forget about that? And also, don't try to tell me that, oh, they had a score to settle. What score to settle? I mean, in Volume 4, it was RWBY who cut off Tyrion's tail, not Crowe. And also, if you're going to bring up the whole Tyrion poisoning Crowe, they haven't brought that up at all since it was addressed in Volume 4. So, yeah, him teaming up with Tyrion makes no sense. And also, Crowe acts surprised when Tyrion kills Clover. What did you think Tyrion was going to do, huh? They have shown us that in this volume, Tyrion does not care who he kills. He has killed a large group of innocent civilians and just murdered the guy who was flying your plane or aircraft thing, So, are you really surprised that Tyrion would murder Clover? Seriously, Crowe. I mean, in terms of character development for Crowe, it's good, but man, this scene was handled poorly. In fact, they only need to do one slight change to it to make it a lot better. Have Crowe and Clover realize, hey, maybe we should stop fighting and take down Tyrion first, so that way we can settle it after that. You know, just reverse it, where it's Clover and Crowe teaming up rather than Tyrion and Crowe. And during the fight, they knock out Tyrion, but Tyrion pretends to be knocked out, and then proceed as normal with Clover getting killed by Tyrion. There you go. You just had to do that one simple change. Seriously, that scene really annoyed me, personally. But, yeah, now let's talk about the good things in this volume.
Not so fast, Sean. We still have one more scene we need to go over. That scene, of course, being the election party scene. Now, if you don't want to listen to me rambling about this one scene, you can skip to the time slot on screen, but... oh boy, this scene. You see, Watts and Tyrion plan on framing Penny for killing a couple of people, as well as nearly killing Robin during the election poll, even though it was Tyrion that killed all those people. There are so many problems with this one scene, but I don't want to drag this video out for too long, so I'll keep my segments short. But let's go over the biggest problem with this scene. The fact that the plan itself relies heavily on sheer coincidence. This problem is combined with a bunch of other problems that are linked to other characters that aren't just Watts and Tyrion. So let's go over each and every problem I can think of with this scene. Starting with security. The point of security of any event is to make sure nothing problematic is around or inside of the area of said event. So that way, disasters like this don't occur. With that said, oh boy do these people suck at being security guards. All they had to do was check the perimeter for any suspicious characters or items, and also make sure that people that are going inside of the building aren't trying to bring in dangerous weapons in there. The fact that these people can't even do those simple tasks right is really stupid and disappointing. Heck, the only person that noticed something off was RWBY, who spotted Tyrion's tail. And that was right as their plan was about to be initiated. Problem 2. No one turning on the flashlights on their scrolls. Why does no one have the idea of turning on the flashlight on their scrolls when not only the lights go out, but also when they hear people dying?
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm playing the Do Not Have Phones clip from BlizzCon 2018, and it perfectly sums up this entire problem. That's how bad this is. Problem 3. Fauna's not using night vision to see Tyrion. There are 3 Faunas that we see in the party, those being Tyrion, Morrow, and the goat girl Fiona. Now, the lack of Faunas in the election party, aside from the 3 I mentioned, is kind of a problem in and of itself, but I won't go over it. But what I will go over is the idea that most Faunas have night vision, right? So, how did Fiona, who is a Fauna, not notice Tyrion until it was too late? Now, it could just be slow reaction time on her end, and Tyrion just being too fast for her, but still, just something you gotta think about. And now that I bring up Tyrion and Fiona, that's another thing. Tyrion is based off a scorpion, right? Well, when I looked it up, apparently scorpions don't have good night vision. Heck, they don't have good vision at all. And yet, sheep do have good night vision. So did the writers just forget that one had good night vision over the other or something? I don't know, that's another thing to think about. Problem 4. Blood. Now, normally when you stab or slash someone with a weapon, for example a sword or a blade, normally blood gets everywhere. It gets on the floor, it gets on the weapon, it gets on the attacker, it just goes everywhere. But if you take a real close look at Penny for a few seconds, you'll notice that there's no blood on her anywhere. But apparently, because most of the characters, aside from the main characters, took stupid pills off camera, they all assume Penny was the one that killed the people because, oh, blades are out. That means she did it. Heck, even Robin at the moment believed it was Penny that killed them, even though there's no blood anywhere. And blood's usually an indicator that someone is either a witness or a culprit of a crime. Now, you thought those problems were bad? Oh boy, let me tell you something. This last problem is really gonna make you dumbfounded after hearing it. You ready? Robin's semblance. What is her semblance, you may ask? Well, by grasping another person's hand, she will see if someone is telling the truth or a lie. What? Okay, I think I'm calm now. Let's just get this over with so that way I can work on my own videos. Robin, this entire time, could have confirmed to the public that Penny wasn't the culprit, but she chose not to. I mean, it's not like it wasn't obvious already that Penny wasn't the culprit since there was a lack of blood on her, but I digress. And what's worse, it's public knowledge that she has this semblance. Don't believe me? Here's the proof.
You're all aware of my semblance. Let's settle it here and now, General Iron.
Let's just wrap this up. The only reason Watts and Tyrion's plan worked at all is because of sheer coincidence that everybody took stupid pills. It was a coincidence that the security sucked. It was a coincidence people forgot flashlights were on their scrolls. It was a coincidence that the faunas, aside from Tyrion, didn't use night vision well, which again for the case of Fiona was probably just a slow reaction time, but I digress. It was a coincidence people would jump to conclusions that Penny was the culprit even though she doesn't have blood on her. And finally, it was a coincidence Robin didn't use her semblance until the next episode. No, I'm not kidding. That's it for this segment. Thanks for listening to me ramble about how stupid this scene was, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Now if you excuse me, I gotta go to the grocery store to buy some ice cream and a Snickers bar, because holy Arceus, I really need it after this.
Now, let's talk about the good things in Volume 7. First off, the animation still looks gorgeous as always. It looks fantastic. From the character models, to the environments, to the fight scenes, all of it looks great. Also, the music is still great as always, and a lot of the vocal tracks are really good. However, I can't play any of them because if I did, I'll get copyright striked. So, yeah. And also, the fight scenes this time around are still great. Well, I personally believe Volume 6 had a better round of fights. They all worked better, in my opinion, for Volume 6. Volume 7 still does have its good share of fights. My personal favorites are Team RWBY versus the Aesofs, because while yes, my only issue with this fight is that because we barely know anything about the Aesofs, it kind of makes them fighting Team RWBY kind of less impactful, because they act like, oh, we're such good friends, we can't do this. But since we barely know anything about the Aesofs, it just lessens the impact. But it's still a pretty good fight scene, and I like how Team RWBY beats them with the power of teamwork. And yeah. Also, another fight scene I really do like is at the end with Cinder versus Penny and Winter. I thought that was a really good fight scene. And also, Cinder is actually intimidating this time around, unlike in Volumes 5 and 6. So yeah, that makes this fight a lot better. And my personal favorite fight in this season has to go to Watts versus Ironwood. Now, on the surface, this fight scene seems pretty boring. Two characters with pistols in an open arena. Yeah, that sounds kinda lame. But you know what? You wanna know what they do? They actually make it fun by having the characters fight in an arena that changes gravity. That is genius. In fact, their bullets even ricochet off each other, which makes it even more cool. And yeah, it's actually a really good fight. Now, let's talk about some of the new characters that I mentioned that were pretty cool. First off, well, I'm putting these two characters in the same spot. Penny and her dad. While yes, Penny isn't a new character, I thought it would be a perfect time to talk about both of them in this part, so yeah. Because while yes, Penny is an android and they can just bring her back, here they bring up a good point, because here's the thing, they can't bring back Penny all the time. Because, you see, in order for Penny to have her personality, her father/creator gave up his aura to give Penny a personality. Basically, he gave up his own life energy for her, and if Penny gets destroyed one more time, they don't know if he has enough to bring her back, or if he does, they think it might be enough to kill him because, well, he would have lost all of his energy. So yeah, it actually kind of makes it interesting because you think that since Penny's a robot, oh yeah, they can bring her back from the dead anytime they want. But no, it actually kind of raises the stakes for a character who seems to be immortal. And also, Penny becomes the Winter Maiden at the end, which is nice. In fact, she gets kind of like a Pinocchio storyline this season, which I think is pretty funny. Though I kind of wish Winter got the powers of the Winter Maiden. And if you think that's an obvious pun, well, aren't we forgetting that Cinder's last name is Fall, and she's the Fall Maiden? Just saying, it would have been kind of funny for Winter to get the powers of the Winter Maiden. But yeah, Penny was good this season. I thought she was pretty funny. And also, well, I liked her dad. He was nice. And also, two other new characters I thought were pretty cool were Clover, because Clover, he was pretty alright. And I also, while yes, I did have issues with Robin, she was pretty okay. And yeah, that's mostly for the new characters. And I also, like I mentioned earlier, I liked Willow. And yeah. And also, let's talk about some of the recurring characters. Well, the main characters anyway. First off, I don't have an issue with Blake and Yang not doing much this season, because throughout volumes 4, 5, and 6, they had to go through an arc of dealing with Adam. They had to get over the pain that Adam gave both of them, and in volume 6, it ended with them killing him and dumping his body in the river to drown. So, yeah, I'm perfectly okay with them not doing much this season, because they just went through 3 seasons of a character arc, so they can have their break for right now. And also, I don't mind Team Juniper not doing much this season, because, while yes, Nora and Ren do get together at the end, well, actually in the middle of the volume, I still don't mind them not doing much, because, like with Yang and Blake, they had to get over the death of Pyrrha throughout volumes 4, 5, and 6, and like with Blake and Yang, their arc ended in volume 6 when they were at the monument for Pyrrha. So, yeah, I don't mind them not doing much this volume either. Also, Weiss. She actually gets a lot of character development this season with her dealing with her father, and that scene where she arrests her dad was so satisfying, and probably the funniest thing in this entire volume, where when she arrests her dad, she says, "Jocksney, you're under arrest." Can I do that? That was pretty funny in my opinion. Easily the biggest laugh out moment for me. And yeah, Weiss was still pretty good. And RWBY gets character arc this volume. I'm not even joking. She actually gets more to do, and I like how she's put in a similar position like how Ozpin was, but with RWBY, she knows that she can trust Ironwood, but she's kind of worried since throughout this volume, Ironwood is kind of slowly losing his mind because he thinks that the entire world is on his shoulders because of Salem. So, yeah, I can perfectly understand RWBY not telling Ironwood the whole truth until she can believe that Ironwood is trustworthy enough. And also, Ironwood is also pretty cool this volume, and at the end, yeah, he goes off the deep end, but still, I can understand him. He's someone who's slowly losing his mind, thinking that the rest of the world is on his shoulders because Ozpin ain't talking anymore. And also, Oscar was okay as always. He was just fine. I mean, I like Tyrion and Watts. I like their interactions. And, yeah. And also, Crowe. While I'll fully admit I did have issues with him at the end of the volume, throughout the rest of the volume, he was pretty good. I like how we see Crowe in a more cheery demeanor, because usually we see Crowe in a bit of a depressed state, especially in volume 6 where he was drunk half of the time. But here, we actually see him happy, and I like how he says that he's done with drinking. And in fact, even when they're at a party, he's all like, no, I don't want to drink anymore. So, yeah. And also, I do like his talk with RWBY when RWBY becomes a huntress. It was a pretty nice moment. And, yeah, that's how I can describe Crowe. He was pretty cool this volume, aside from the end, but still. And, yeah, that's mostly what I can say for Volume 7. It has a lot of good things to it. And also, like I mentioned earlier, Cinder is actually intimidating this volume. Thank God, because after Volume 4, she just became kind of boring, honestly. I mean, sure, her fight with Raven in Volume 5 was cool, but other than that, not much. And I also really like her interactions with Neo, how when we first see them, Neo's all like, "Hey, can we pretty please the cherry on top kill RWBY?" And she's like, "Nope, until we get the relic, then we can kill RWBY." I just thought that was kind of a funny moment. And also, while some people have complained about the fight between Team Juniper and Oscar fighting, Neo, I kind of enjoy that fight. I especially love how Neo does transform into Nora during half of it. I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, that's mostly what I can say for Volume 7. It has a good story. The pacing is pretty good, though I do feel like sometimes it does skip over some stuff, like with the Aesop's during the montage. I really wish we got to see more of the Aesop's. But still, I had a fun time with Volume 7. Is it as good as Volume 3? Well, nearly. Keyword nearly. It's still really good, but Volume 3 is still a lot better in my opinion. If I had to rank all the seasons of RWBY so far, I would say number 1 is Volume 3, number 2 is Volume 7, number 3 is Volume 2, number 4 is Volume 6, number 5 is Volume 4, number 6 is Volume 5, and number 7 is Volume 1. I'll fully admit, if I got a little confused near the end, that's because, well, their all numbers are based off seasons. Or not, all their numbers are a number. So, yeah, I'm sorry if I got confused near the end, but still. Overall, I'm going to give Volume 7 a 9 out of 10. It was pretty dang good. So, yeah, that's it for the RWBY videos. Oh boy, these took a lot out of me. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed them. I had a fun time making them. So, yeah, see you all later and have a good day.